often talk about SPF, DKIM, and other authentication stuff on the server. What are these things actually, and how significant it is to our email sending activities? Okay, cool. Let's go back to my trusty. Where is it? My trusty. Okay. In email, what happened to my? Oh, there you go. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Generally, in email marketing. Okay. So here at this authentication site, can you guys see the screen, right? Okay. Then you have your action. And then you have your content. Okay, let me see. Okay, let's map this into, oops. What is this? Let's map this into so-called a real-world example. Let's say you want to join a members club, the physical members club. Okay, let's say you want to join you got invited to a party, all right? So when it comes to authentication in the real world is, do you have the invitation card? Right, this is an exclusive party, so do you have the invitation card? And second thing is maybe you have an IC or chat, all right? So in email, okay, so this is live, and this is email. So an authentication is when you have your SPF, your DKIM, and maybe DMARC, is to tell the Googles or the Yahoo mails that when I send this email, and you can verify that it's me and not somebody pretending to be me. Okay, so this is basically, if you map this to real life, is your invitation, is your IC to verify that it is me, and I have all this. You can check through my domains. For example, it's ends.digital. They will be able to run checks and says, okay, this email sender is allowed to send on this on this particular domain behalf. So your authentication is basically your IC or your verification. All right. So then, and it is significant because that is the first thing that they will decide whether, because Google's and the Yahoo's and all, their interest is to protect their users, which is people like us. You know, if we have the Gmail account, imagine if I open a Gmail account and every day I get junked, I'm going to quit Gmail. So their interest is to make sure that this sort of emails or any so-called malicious email with phishing links and all those things that can harm my online reputation, for example, or risk my security, for example, do not reach my inbox. So Google, Yahoo, actually Outlook or Microsoft platform is one of the toughest to actually get emails in, because it's very easy for them to send your emails into spam or the junk folder. Okay, they're very tough because they were Microsoft 365 and it's tied to their Office and all those things. So their security level is a lot more higher. Okay, compared to even Gmail. Okay, so for people like Gmail and all these things, the ISP or the email service, the email inbox providers, is they need to verify that you are the genuine person so that your emails can be sent to them. Okay, so at the first part, they're going to look at this, and then now, in real life, once you get access into the party, all right, get access to the party there, what you do within the party, for example, if you start harassing, how do I spell harassing? Okay. If you start harassing the guests, in email world is you start spamming them, all right, you will get kicked out too. So even if you have all your authentication set up perfectly, right, tip-top condition, but because your action when you're inside the party or when somebody gives you an email address, they accept you, and you start spamming them for no reason, which is basically harassing your guests, harassing the rest of the guests, they would complain, which is why they report you as spam. So they will kick you out. And then at the third level is what is when you harass the guest. And then at the third level is your content. Are you making sense? Are you sending stuff that people want to hear? Right? And obviously in a party, you won't be talking to everybody. You'll be talking maybe to a small group eventually. All right. So here is where you have people have shown interest, right? And they interact with you. So that interaction in email term is either I reply to your email or I click on the content that you send, all right? And in interest in the party sense is they start talking to you. Now, Gmail will be also looking at signals like this. When you send email, do people reply? Do you send email, do people click? Do they open your emails? If they do not open your emails, that means you're there. You're saying things where people don't understand, or either they just couldn't be bothered, or you're not relevant. So therefore, these three things, besides just authentication is just the first step to get you in. But what you do after that when you get in, or when people give you the email address, is the one that actually makes a difference for your longevity, your reputation of your domain. Okay. So in a roundabout way of doing it, hopefully I managed to make this look a lot more simpler, or hopefully I didn't just confuse you more. All right. Next one, check your life after you sign off. Okay, this one, Eloise, I don't understand what you say. Okay, who is this? Very important, one defines what IP is allowed to send emails from a domain, and one is to verify encryption that the email is sent, not altered, forged, and then the hardware. Okay, so that's true. So defines what IP or defines who can send on your domain behalf is what you call the SPF. Okay, and then the second one is encryption. Basically, they want to check that the emails, the source of the email, and it's basically a private public key thingy, very technical stuff. But generally speaking, is the source. And when they receive that email, it's actually confirmed that it's coming from the right person. Okay. And finally, the DMARC is basically a policy rule that says that as long as the IP that's defined is checked and it's allowed, and if the source is also correct, then DMARC will basically is the one that ties in and says, okay, now email providers, if this tool is in place, you can receive this email, or you should reject, or you should quarantine this email. So that if somebody so-called masks as my email or my domain and start sending email without me knowing it, the DMARC will then decide and says it's not coming from the right source. This email shouldn't be sent to the recipient. Therefore, it would prevent my domain reputation from being tarnished, okay, or sender reputation from being tarnished. Okay, so cool. Thanks for the explanation. Okay. I'm using, okay, today, since this is the first session, I'm going to extend it by another maybe 10 minutes, okay, for the fun of it. So if I'm using a service like G Suite to manage my emails, is this necessary? If you're referring to your authentication, if you're using G Suite, Google would have already set it up during your setup process, okay? So you don't need to do the additional setup. But if you sign up for, let's say, a MailChimp, Active Campaign, ESP or email service provider, then it is advisable for you to do the process of authentication, because SPF allows, basically you're saying that you're allowing MailChimp to send on behalf of your domain. Okay. And then DKIM is basically the servers from MailChimp is basically approved under your domain. Okay. So, but if you're using G Suite to send normal emails during your setup process, that would have been done already. Okay. Okay. You guys can have your conversation from here. You set up to above, your chances of having email sent to recipient, master junk mail blocked by recipient, or corporate file will be much lesser. Yes, obviously. You can't gate crash your party. If you don't have the invitation letter, you don't have your ICs in place, you ain't going to get into the party. So same thing. If your authentication is not set right, Google, Yahoo Mail, ain't very likely that they will they will treat you as a possible spammer, and then they will just uh, you know to in doubt, they will just send you to the junk folder. Okay. Wow, you guys are authentication experts. Okay, maybe you should do a session just on this. Should be fun. The settings on your domain provider side, yes, you need to do that from your, because you are sending, for example, if you receive my emails, part of my list, you will see is andrew@ants.digital. Okay, that is my domain, and that is also represent my sender domain. Okay, so whatever it is, all these changes is to be done on your domain DNS systems. So when you map with, for example, a MailerLite or MailChimp, they will give you certain so-called codes or script that you can just copy into your DNS so that it's all matched, because Google is going to refer to your DNS, which is basically your so-called your personal directory, to verify do you have all these things in place. Okay, so that is what you call authentication for emails. And it's important. It gets you your help to get your foot in, but like I mentioned earlier, your action and your content is also important, whether you can continue to stay in or continue to enjoy the party. All right. Hi, and thanks for watching. If you need my help to set up your email marketing engine for your business, just click on the link here and you see a list of services that will help you grow your leads and sales and also increase your profits through emails. I'm looking forward to working with you soon.